All right, man. So Tyler Perry dropped Divorce in the Black. I'm gonna give a quick consensus of what the movie was about. So you had Dallas and I forgot it. Was it Ava? I know it was Ava. Was it? Dallas and Ava from a very small town in Georgia. Kind of the like bad boy vibe meets great girl raised in a certain family. They get together. They move away. There's some traumatic experiences shared. And the movie goes through basically like what it's like coming from two different ends of the totem pole trying to be together. I'm going to start with a low key. I want to know this. Why is everybody on the internet saying Tyler Perry hate black women because of the type of movies he makes? Did y'all get that from this movie?
No, I'm not one of those people. So
okay,
I don't know.
What about like I'm not understanding how that ties into. So this is the thing. I'm gonna be real. I feel opposite of a lot of people. To me, movie wise, it was a good movie. Like I didn't put too much stock into like, oh, the message or what was he saying here. But like I could sit and watch it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I didn't get distracted. It was decent.
Now, it was entertaining. It was entertaining.
That start was a little wild, my boy.
That start was crazy.
Start was wild.
Yeah, like that was wild.
Like
that was aggressive.
That was extreme.
Too much.
Yeah.
Sure. Hey, when the first time she said no, leave it. I said, I know they not about to take this man about the casket.
That body on that man's head was bobbing like that. I said,
I'm like,
I said, yeah, it's over with.
What did he have to do to get that acting job to be the dead man?
Hey, bro,
I couldn't have done it. I would have been laughing my ass off. I couldn't have done it.
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't have done it.
Yeah. Hey, look. Hey, and Cory went on an interview and said he was acting his ass off because he was heavy as hell.
That's all I kept thinking about. I'm like, are we really doing this right now? Like a body would be so heavy to take it out of the casket.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's immediately where my head went.
And I'm gonna tell you, as soon as
I'm grieving over my brother, and you want me to pick him up?
Yeah,
no, man.
And I was like,
grab his feet.
Oh man. I was like, when the dad started saying, like, oh, you going to like this keeping them out of hell. I was like, at first, I was like, okay, we starting at a funeral. Where's Pops going with this?
Yeah,
because bro is starting to stab at him, and I'm like, bro, ain't nobody gonna sit there and take that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so I'm like, okay, I see dad hates him. I couldn't be in no situation like that. Then he take him out the casket. I'm like, okay, Tyler, we went super ratchet first 10 minutes in.
Mm-hmm. And I thought his mom was gonna take it all off.
When she started taking off her,
I was like, she getting naked? What the hell is going on here?
But Kenneth, to your point, I want to say two things. I think to your original point about black women feeling a certain type of way about his portrayal, he is not afraid to make black women villains, right? And I think certain movies, they're like there's always like a black woman villain at certain points. But one thing I've learned to appreciate with Tyler Perry is the lens that I watch his movies through now are totally different. I don't watch his movies with the same expectation as I would if I was watching maybe a different production. I understand that his niche is making movies to entertain black people. It's not going to always make sense. It's not going to always be, something that we've seen before. But that first scene, it's like he almost made it a point to take whatever we've been accustomed to seeing in settings like that and make it entertaining and grab our attention.
Sure.
So, I've learned to appreciate his art a lot differently.
But this is my thing, though, Louis. To that point, she wasn't even a villain. Like,
his mom? You don't think his mom was a villain?
No. The
Ava, the wife.
Ava, yeah.
No, but his mom was a villain.
Mom. Okay, yeah. You're right.
His mom was a villain.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in my mind, she wasn't enough of a main character for that to be the consensus about hating black women. Because this is the thing, in my opinion. So the thing I did like about it, not going too deep, I think that relationship happens all the time, like the savior mentality of meeting the bad boy of here, and I want to say this dude, I can show you more and more. But I'm like that happens. But shit, he was more of, to me, Cory did a great job acting, to me personally.
He did.
But I'm like, to me, he's more he really was the antagonist. She really wasn't. She didn't do anything wrong.
She didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that for the next part of the conversation, what did y'all think about the depiction of trauma in relationships? Like, how do you think it was represented in the movie? First of all, let me take a step back. I'm sorry, y'all. What was y'all overall thoughts? I gave mine, but I didn't give y'all. What was y'all overall thoughts of the movie before we jump into the next part?
So
Start with you, Lewis.
oh, go.
No, it was entertaining. I didn't have any expectation. The first scene, I think, set the tone for what the movie was going to be. And the only critique I'll give Tyler Perry, he just got to learn how to end movies better. It was anticlimactic a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I give you that. Princess, what you think?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with Lewis. It was entertaining, and I think now I have a certain level of expectation for a Tyler Perry film. And like you said, Lewis, like it's not the standard that I set for another film. And so that's why no matter what comes up on the screen, I know that it's Tyler Perry, and I'm always entertained at best. And like I'm never disappointed and writing all these think pieces on Facebook. Like it's Tyler Perry, and it's gonna be solid in some areas, maybe some questionable makeup wigs, I don't know. But there's gonna be a message, and it's gonna be entertaining. So I mean, I enjoyed it.
For sure. What about you, Asia? What's your thoughts on it?
I thought, like, when it comes to Tyler Perry, right? I just realized it's like there are certain things that you know you're going to get, right? So there's always going to be a church scene of some kind, right?
Nice.
There's always going to be the dude that comes out of nowhere that then they, you know, it's like there are certain components that we know is coming, right? There's always going to be the elder person speaking wisdom to the younger character. We know how this goes. What I love, though, is that every time that I know that those components are there, he still takes it a step far. Not say in a bad way, in an entertaining way. So, for instance, I knew that the church scene was going to be dramatic. Did I think that was going to be what was happening, though? No.
Hell no.
Right.
Nothing could have prepared me for that, right?
Right.
I actually really liked, there were two things that I really, really enjoyed. I really liked the best friend. What I liked about her character is because she's definitely a woman from the North. That
I knew you were going to say that.
Like, and for me, it was really one of those, like, because I have friends that are from the South, and there's certain things that it's like, oh, Asia, you're so aggressive, or oh, Asia, you talk so fast, and you're so passionate, and da da da. And for me, I'm like, yeah, I did not learn that was a thing that I was doing until I got around people that were not from the North. And so for me, I really did like resonate with the best friend, because I'm like, dang, it's like you doing like that's a lot, but I get it. You know what I'm saying?
You about that action?
I think our love shows up differently.
About that action?
Yeah, no, for real though. And something else that it's like we're doing too much. Like we get into the action. The last thing I'll say is, and this kind of goes to what you were just asking about, Keenan, the scene with the mom, with Ava's mom apologizing to her after the mom read the list.
For sure.
I thought it was so powerful, because how many times do parents play a role in the ways that we show up in relationships and do not take accountability for the things that they planted, right? And so then it's like, especially I guess as I was a church kid, you know, my parents were preaching and stuff. And so like when the mom said, wow, I was taking care of everybody else in the church, I didn't even see what was going on. When I say y'all, I felt that one. Because I think a lot of us that grew up in the church, we have church hurt because we spent so much time in church and it was so much focus on other people and serving that we felt neglected in some areas. So seeing the mom like really apologizing for that, I thought that was my favorite scene.
So appreciate everybody tapping in right now on the Monday Night Crew, man. Appreciate everybody. Jay, what's your thoughts, bro? What's your overall thoughts of the movie, brother?
I thought it was a great production. Personally, I had a few scenes that kind of stuck out to me. With Tyler Perry, I feel like with his films, he tries to channel experiences that he's had with Black women. And I think a lot of people take that away from him. And they're like, you're always trying to put a negative light. But if that's all he has experienced, he also tries to spin off and show you ways to deal with those people that are in your life, because everybody has an aunt like that, everybody has a mother like that, everybody has, in some type of family. It doesn't have to be black, but I love that he does that personally. The last thing I would say is to kind of spin off what you said, Asia. My thing is that was one of my favorite scenes too, with the mom and daughter, but I looked at it from a different perspective, from the daughter's perspective. Of she was in a place to where after the mother read and she was apologizing, when she said, like, I was embarrassed. Like, we don't look at kids and realize, like, people are going through a lot of shit and they're not understanding how to communicate that. It's not necessarily saying that she didn't want to come to her mom and her dad, but when you in it, you don't know how to communicate those things. So I think that was very, like, refreshing for her mom to apologize for her, but for her also to acknowledge, like, when she talked to her best friend and said, "Nah, I needed that conversation." You don't even know you need those conversations until you have those conversations. So I thought that he had a lot of good points in there for me.
Hey, for sure. So I'm gonna go a couple things I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go here with it. It took me like halfway through the movie to know that it was. Oh, hold on. We got a couple comments. Matt, I'm not reading that. Britt, hold on.
Hey, that comment.
Yeah, because Matt ain't on that. Brittany said, "What's up, Britt?" Brittany said it was
What up, Britt?
It was slow. Matt said,
we already knew Britt's review.
Hey, look,
Right.
and here come Matt. All I know is Tyler Perry ain't sponsored by Remy. Thank you. I'm pretty sure he may have some stocks in it, but thank you.
He got something.
Yeah,
I know. Before you get into that, bro, I do want to say one thing though. But that best friend, the dude.
Hold on, Jay. I'm about to get on that. Jay, hold on, Jay. We about to go there.
Yeah,
we about to go there. I got a problem with
It's
him.
because he was light skinned.
I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on, let me read this. There was a lot of missing pieces. I needed more backstory on the Bertrand brothers. I agree with that, Brittany. I feel like Cory just kind of popped back up with drinking problem. I'm gonna tell you for real.
That's true.
So that was my critique, but the movie couldn't have been 2 hours with that background, because two of the things, to your point, Brittany, that I wanted to know, what was the dynamics between the brothers' influence on him? Like, there was calls who was like, "Hey man, did you hurry up and get the divorce?" Like, what? But there was no, it didn't show like the way they came up. Is that how they always operated? Was he trying to break away from that? He was sharing how
he killed his dad.
He was sharing how about killing his dad and stuff. It never went. I'm like, damn, I thought that flashback was going to happen throughout to give us more context. Because the one thing I do feel like he dropped the ball on, it should have showed more of Dallas's internal struggle. Like, we saw it outwardly, but we don't. They kind of talked about the trauma, but we don't know the actual internal struggle about what he was going between. Not saying what he was doing was right. Never put your hands on people, but that's a real thing. You know what I mean?
Can I say something to that? Real
absolutely.
Quick? I do think, like, even though I really do wish that there was more backstory and all the things, I think once again Tyler Perry does a good job. He touches on a lot of different issues, which it sometimes feels undone. For instance, when we talk, even your question around trauma, that means he had unresolved trauma that he was not processing, that he was not actually thinking about, that he only is going through the trauma and all those things when he is drunk and having those mini episodes, which I think is true and real for a lot of people. This idea, so we see the consequences of unresolved trauma, because it's not all nice and neat, and a lot of people don't process it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the movie would have been different if he was processing, or we saw some of that going on. But for somebody that's not doing any of that, that's super real. So that part is like, I wish there was more, but Tyler did.
And can I just say that I don't know how many people felt like this, but I really they kept saying Atlanta was an hour and a half from where they were from. I sincerely, with my whole heart, y'all, wanted to know, where were they supposed to be from? It was that family. What's their name? How you say it? Bertrand? Whatever.
Bertrand.
Bertrand. What was, like, where was it an hour and a half outside of Atlanta where they were burying brothers in the backyard? Like, I really wanted to know the location. Like, that bothered me. I just thought they were going to slip out and say it. They kept saying Atlanta, an hour and a half from Atlanta. I'm like, where are y'all doing this type of nonsense at? Like, did we cross over into Alabama? Like, is this just somewhere else in Georgia? Like, what is going on?
And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm sorry.
Princess, with me traveling, I'm not gonna lie, it's some rural areas in Georgia that
I mean, I know it is,
really
but I just want to
crazy.
know where's, because y'all burying folks in the backyard. Let me just stay in Atlanta then, I guess.
You ain't lying. So this is a couple problems I had, man. So it took me like halfway through the movie to realize that that Dallas and I think his name was Jim or whatever his name was. I didn't realize they were best friends and the women became friends because of them until like halfway through. So now I got a problem with old buddy. I'm not gonna lie.
No, Jim should have got his ass beat.
What? Hold on. Time out. What
he
he
about the best friend, right?
He didn't defend his wife like he was supposed to. He was getting pussy the whole
movie.
We talking about, but what I'm saying is
his wife was just sitting there talking about something. But then with the plot came, then you realize, he had that dirt on him.
That's exactly what I'm about to get at.
What you got on me? You're not about to talk reckless like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But this is the thing though. Like that's what made me think about the dynamic, because when he kept saying that to her, I was thinking that the girls was best friends and that's just her boyfriend. So I'm like, why are you talking reckless like that? But he probably felt like he could because of what information he had.
At the beginning, he said that though. At the beginning, you remember the dude said to Hunger, like, hey, we grew up here. You didn't.
Hey, either way it go, man. I'm gonna tell you where he dropped the ball. I need to know who's sending them pictures because it was him.
Hey, facts.
It was him. He was sending them pictures. That was payback. And the second part, I got a bone to pick. You can't have boyfriend number 2 all up in the crib, though.
That's true. What pictures was she sending? Who sent it?
I feel like the friend, because he had the dirt, was like, I feel like the best friend, but not because he had the dirt. The best friend was sending Dallas all the pictures of like the get-togethers and all that stuff. He was feeding him that stuff, causing him to react a certain way. And when he acted out of control, it was like trying to do his due diligence of sharing because he had dirt on him. So I'm trying to tell you what's going on now because I had dirt on. But like, I'm gonna be real with you, man. You can't have boyfriend number 2 at the crib, man. Y'all go out to eat or something like then we ain't friends no more, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Come on, man. Ain't no way.
2 at the crib. When was that? What scene was that?
Whenever he actually spilled, like when he actually told about him cheating. Remember he popped up at the crib and he called what was the wife's name? Rona.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He called her a bitch or something like that.
Yeah.
That was crazy for him to say that in front of the husband, in front of Jim. That was crazy.
He called everybody a bitch.
He did. And that man left. Hey Lewis, that man left untouched.
Yeah,
crazy. For real. He was calling everybody a bitch.
Crazy.
But and the thing I think the dynamic was weird about the friend. I know y'all gonna get on me. I'm sorry. But like the best friend was trying to be there, but she kept saying, like, girl, I'm gonna drive down there. Never drove. I'm gonna stay the night. Never stayed the night. I'm gonna be with you tomorrow. Wasn't with her tomorrow. I'm like, you just giving all these supportive opportunities and not following through. Like, what's going on?
She was getting shot down though. She was getting shot.
Yeah, didn't she tell her she didn't want her to come? Or something?
Hey, when you my road dog, you can't get rid of me.
Every single time, the best friend was like, "Yeah, I'm filling up right now." Every time she said no.
She got shot.
You know what? But something else I would say when homeboy came and spilled the beans, she was like, "All right, y'all can go. You can. I ain't here to support you. We got to fix our shit." She was like, "Yeah, you can go."
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, right? Because sometimes with friends, like that was actually the point that I analyzed. Like sometimes with people that you're close to, when their shit starts spilling into yours, now you got to create those boundaries.
Yeah,
I give you that. But my thing is, brother, you can't go in and like you knew that before you started letting us all over here. You knew I had that.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? Like you already know what you're capable of. And this is the thing. Thank God it's not my experience, but like that's also, I'm not condoning cheating. That's why you gotta watch who you tell, man. Because that shouldn't have never been a thing. Just because you in this situation, we supposed to be bros, and you was, you know what I'm saying, we was cool. I could tell you when I was doing it, you was with it, covering for me, and now you get in a little situation, you telling the whole 9 yards. Nah,
it was just his feelings was hurt that he let old buddy in the house.
You can't do that neither. That was
yeah, that was a violation. Number one, I agree with you, Princess. Homeboy should have never been there. Number 2 for me was the fact of the initiating the divorce, being very vocal about it. Like, yeah, we ready to get he's showing up at jobs and everything. And then play victim when she's signing the papers was mind blowing to me. No, she just goes,
I mean,
not even think about. I'm like, you just initiated the divorce. I'm confused right now.
So, but before we close out on the Divorce and Black movie review, do y'all feel like his films, this one included, are like helping or hindering the look of Black people and couples in the media, or is it just like a movie? We should leave it at that, or do you think it keeps driving the narrative of what quote unquote Black couples or we look like in the media? What do y'all think about that? Because he got one of the strongest pipelines
personally, I think that is just a film. And honestly, just like we all just sat up here and said, these scenarios are real and we're living them every day. So to me, I feel like you seeing it on screen, that's not driving us any further left or right, in my opinion. Because if you're going to keep doing it, whatever the toxic behavior, whatever, like, that's just how it's going to be. If Tyler Perry totally changes the narrative of what he writes his film about, I don't think that personally it's going to change the Black community. Like, I don't think we're going to magically be better just because Tyler Perry starts writing about something else. I think that these are real experiences, and I think people need to be mature enough to watch it in that lens.
Yeah, well said. I couldn't agree more, Princess.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, that was good, Princess.
Yeah, because I feel like he's the only person. Black doesn't matter. Like, we can have 10,000 Transformer films and nobody questions how the plot is the same all the time. He makes something, it's like, oh, you're redundant, bro. Literally every Transformer film has the same plot, beginning, middle, end, and we don't say nothing. Jay was talking
I'm about to say,
what
what about the conversation me and you had? We talking about the Fast and the Furious movies. You got fucking cars weighing down a plane on a runway. Nobody's discussing that. Nobody's saying this is absurd. We're not talking about two Chargers.
Those are my favorites.
Okay, two Chargers carrying down the street a big ass vault. We're not talking about that. We not.
That's Fast 5. That's my shit.
I ain't gonna lie, they are good. They be entertaining though.
I'm not saying they're not entertaining, but I'm just saying nobody's talking about how these Chargers are pulling a vault down the street or how 4 Chargers are holding down a big ass airplane. Nobody's talking about that.
You know what I think though? I think people are mad, like low key, that like Tyler Perry is not like a Spike Lee. And I think that we have to be able to separate that you can be a Black creative and have two very different lanes, right? Because I do think the messaging of a Spike Lee joint, we know what we're getting with a Spike Lee joint. You know what I'm saying? Like with all of them, it's a Spike Lee joint. You know, Tyler Perry films, he has his own lane, very, very separate. They both do a great job of storytelling. But I think the purpose of them both, they're different. And that's okay. I think people need to understand it's okay. Not everything needs to be like, yeah, this is gonna put us better in all the things. It's like it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Princess.
I was just gonna say, and also no one is forcing anybody to watch Tyler Perry films. Right. Like, that's the part that I just feel like people totally, it's as if someone is literally saying you have to watch this. You don't. So if you know it's going to be the same type of movie every time, don't watch it.
110%.
And Princess, let me add to that, because me and Keenan had a conversation about this. Let's say he does do the same thing every time, right? We talked about this with artists. If they have a certain type of flow, right? A certain type of melody, whatever the case may be, if that's working for them, why would you want them to change that? They talk about DaBaby all the time. He sounds the same on every song. Even though he sounds the same to certain people, it's still different. And and so for me, Tyler Perry, they can say he's doing the same thing. I like his movies.
I do too.
I don't see nothing wrong with what he's doing.
I think Princess. I'm sorry, go ahead, Princess.
No, go ahead.
I'm about to say you hit the nail on the head. I think you got to watch them to be movies. And the only thing I would say to what Asia said is, no disrespect to Spike Lee. He's obviously amazing, a pioneer. His movies were trauma-filled too. It was just a different type of trauma. Like, it wasn't all relationship-based. It had social issues. But, there was some big trauma moments. And a lot of his movies, which I think is still a representation of what the Black community goes through. But I want to swing it back to you, Princess, so you don't lose your thought. Or did I already take from you?
No, I was just gonna say, going back to like your original question, I think this all stems from the fact that Tyler Perry started his career with Medea, like talking about like how it's like the Black trauma, like with women or whatever, about how he doesn't like Black women. I think it all stems back from Medea, and it came to a point where people didn't like it, and I think just literally from there, people put aside all of his major accomplishments, all of the Black actors and actresses that he actually puts in his film that others are not putting in their films. Like Tyler Perry does a great job with that. Like people who he's discovered from like YouTube and stuff like that. But it's literally, in my opinion, just because it's Tyler Perry.